Investors, welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. And look at that heat map on screen. That's what I love to see. That's what I'm talking about with Green Money Momentum, baby. Let's go. What an exciting day. We had a very bullish rally within the markets, and I foresee this continuing for the rest of October and the rest of the year moving forward, because the main headlines today, what pushed the markets forward, was exactly what we have been talking about, and that is the Federal Reserve. The Fed is our friend. You are going to hear a lot over the upcoming months to not fight the Fed, because the Fed right now is in a rate cutting cycle. They are doing quantitative easing. We did see the FOMC meeting, the FOMC minutes meeting today, and we saw, where their mindset was in September, and they do foresee more rate cuts by the end of 2025. Exactly what we see happening on this channel, because the Fed isn't just going to cut once and then pause altogether. No, there is a bigger picture here, and that is the bigger quantitative easing cycle that we are going into, which is quantitative easing infinity, right? And right now, the Federal Reserve is in a pickle because they have already appeared dovish. The markets really care what the Fed has to say. So the Fed's word and what the Fed's sentiment is very important to the markets. So I'm sure the Fed doesn't want to spook the markets, but they are in a bit of a pickle because they have already appeared dovish and they can't really go back right now, of course, because we are in the government shutdown, which is keeping the statistics away from the Federal Reserve, which is data dependent. And so right now, when we talk about data, nothing really that could come out that will shock us, because the Federal Reserve doesn't even have their hands on that data. So I am very bullish on the markets right now, very bullish for October and the rest of the year. I think that we are personally going in to the golden era of the market. That is why I am wearing the gold tie today. And we're going to talk about three different assets that I am very bullish on. We're going to start out here with SoundHound AI, which had a massive day today. We saw SoundHound pop to a new 52-week high. So this is the highest levels we have seen in SoundHound since last year. SoundHound got all the way up right to about $20, $19.94. So we almost tapped 20, didn't quite get there, but pretty bullish for SoundHound, because this is the highest that SoundHound has been in forever. And as we could see by this trend that we have going on, we have a rising level of support and resistance. And right now, SoundHound is tapping at that highest level of resistance. We are also high on the relative strength index, but it does appear that we can go further on the MACD. And I do believe that SoundHound, with a lot of other AI assets in the market, are going to push a lot higher, because our thesis that we have had going into the end of the year is that risk assets should be the assets that push the highest because of the Federal Reserve and what they are doing with quantitative easing. And right now, that is proving to be the trade. We are seeing quantum soar like crazy. We are seeing AI soar like crazy. And we are seeing technology soar like crazy. Innovative and groundbreaking technologies are always the top movers when the markets are in a bullish cycle. All year has been very bullish, but I do foresee the end of the year, Q4, to be the most bullish time throughout the year. And with SoundHound AI, we have been covering this since 2024, when SoundHound was just at a price of $4. And that is because with SoundHound, this company has a tremendous growth story happening right in front of our eyes, not only when it comes to the stock price, which is jumping, but also when it comes to the actual underlying of the company. We could see that they have accelerating revenue. And what this chart won't tell you right here, but this is what we know from following SoundHound for the long term, is that in the early days of SoundHound, when the revenue wasn't as high as it is now, SoundHound did have just one customer account for about 90% of their revenue. But now SoundHound doesn't have one customer that represents more than 10% of their revenue. So now they have a more diversified customer base. Their customer acquisition has been tremendous this last year, but also their revenue is accelerating. And so SoundHound right now looking very bullish. SoundHound could have a big gap up if it does break through this level of resistance. But even if SoundHound does get rejected in the short term, I am very bullish on this play. I am playing SoundHound for the long term. I believe in the true intrinsic value with SoundHound. And again, when we're talking about their customer acquisition, they are always picking up new corporations to work with every single day. And there are millions of companies in the United States and abroad. So a lot of opportunity for SoundHound to work with many more customers. And in general, the AI trade in Q4, in my belief, again, never financial advice. We'll get that disclaimer out of the way, just financial entertainment, in my opinion. But with my opinion, I do believe that SoundHound could go a lot higher and even break through where it was in the beginning of the year at the tail end of 2024, because SoundHound is only growing in their last quarterly earnings. Things did look very positive. And again, with the quantitative easing that is going on, for all investors who are in the market right now, I'm telling you, you are ahead of the trend, because I do believe that the markets are about to get a lot crazier, because they're going to get a lot more stimulative. And throughout this entire year, the markets have been pent up with some frustration from the Federal Reserve constantly pausing. Now we're finally getting to see what the markets have been anticipating all year long, all the way since 2024. I mean, when we look at the history of SoundHound, what really did send SoundHound off a cliff was the Federal Reserve in 2024, because Jerome Powell came out and he said that the Fed was not going to cut 4 times this year, but just 2 times instead. And that is a lot of what caused the overall market sell-off going into Liberation Day, with a mix of some fear from the tariffs. But again, when it comes to the M2 money supply, the Federal Reserve really does move everything. I mean, the Fed is always pumping more money into the markets. They recently tried to go through a quantitative tightening these last years, but we could see how funky the economy is, and that is not going to work. So a lot more money is going to flow into the markets. A lot more money is going to flow into technology, quantum, and AI. So I'm very bullish on SoundHound at $18. I could see SoundHound shortly getting back to 21. Again, I hold some SoundHound, and also I am proud to say that my father, he has also been playing the markets with me, and he had some SoundHound AI options contracts. And as many of you know, I really recommend getting into options if you aren't already, because my dad, he got in during this support line somewhere, I think in August, maybe leading into September, and now he has had a 100% return on investment just from that move. So just the move that he has had has been 100% plus. So he is up more than 100% on the underlying move of about 78% in SoundHound. And this is what I love about options contracts, because they provide a ton of leverage. And so this is going to be our next stock that we're going to talk about, and that is AMD. But what I have on screen is AMDL, which is an options contract that I picked up on AMD before the big news. We all know what the big news is about AMD working with OpenAI. A lot of investors have already seen that. Now there's a lot of chasing going on in AMD, but I have this options contract here. We could see that today alone, this went up by 43%, and my total return on this is insane to say. Now, this is the double leverage opportunity of AMD on an options contract, but it is up 361%. You guys can't see this part because I'm blocking it, but I bought these. It shows on 9/12. So last month, not even an entire month ago, I am up 361%. I say that not to brag. I say that because I feel, and like I'm talking about with my dad doing the option on SoundHound, I feel that my life purpose, truly what I want to come here on the web to do, is spread knowledge on these options and teach investors of the way. Because when you can make a 361% return on investment, it is absolutely euphoric. And so one time I had someone in the comments say, well, why do you block the dollar amount? That's what motivates me. Well, I do that on purpose, because what I really want to emphasize with this is it is not about the dollar amount, but the strategy. And so the strategy that I have been doing with options time after time after time has produced a 100% return on investment. I mean, my dad hit a 100% ROI today. Here I am at 361% with it going up by 43% today alone. So I made a video a while back. I'll put it in the top and at the end of the video. If you've never checked that out, I really encourage you to do so, because with trading, I play it multiple different ways. I do have long-term positions, so I do hold a lot of stocks, but then also I play medium term. So I do swing trading, and with swing trading, that's a lot of where my options trading comes in. And then with a little bit of day trading, I don't do too much day trading, but a little bit, I play with the double leveraged opportunities. And so I am currently in AMDL. I'm playing with the options contracts, also doing a little bit of trading with that. But AMD breaking in to some new highs today. We could see that it broke through the resistance that was set in March of 2024. So AMD on a very bullish run right now. Again, the whole OpenAI deal is massive. This really changes AMD's whole business. This brings a lot more revenue to the company, and just working with a big player like OpenAI, I mean, this just changes the perception of AMD. And really, just what I was talking about in yesterday's video, what is important about this deal more than anything is it shows that there is not just one player in this AI chip industry. You know, some look at NVIDIA as the one and only, but we have AMD who is in second place, and they are gaining a lot of momentum. So right now we have had this massive gap up in AMD. We are still right around that level of resistance. So I do believe that AMD might go a bit sideways, but I do believe that it could also continue to shoot up, because some call AMD the automatic money doubler. And AMD in the past has been very bullish, but in the short term before this move, things were a bit slow in AMD. So there is still the chance that it does catch even more momentum. A lot of investors looking at this play, but in the short term, I do just want to warn investors, we have had this massive gap up. Many times gaps are meant to be filled, not always, but many times they are. And we are also really high on the relative strength index, and we have had a massive push up on the MACD. So on the short term, I could see a little bit of bleeding, but also I could see this going a lot higher. Like what we have talked about with quantum is quantum at many times on technical analysis has looked very overvalued after a gap up, but then it shoots up even higher. So just because we are elevated on the RSI and we are jumping very high on the MACD doesn't mean that the momentum has to stop, because a lot of volume going in AMD right now with this OpenAI deal, and the talk of the town, what the markets are really focused on right now is technology, AI, quantum, and all these risk assets. And the Federal Reserve is greatly helping us, our best friend in this situation, by cutting rates. This is amazing for assets. And with AMD, I am very bullish for the future. My options contract expires in March. Again, already up 300%. I say that never to brag, but because I just want to encourage investors to open their mind if they haven't already tried with options contracts. In my personal life, at this point, I have helped 5 people around me in my personal circle be able to gain 100% return on investment with options contracts, you know, make these euphoric gains, help to change lives. And my goal, again, what my purpose here is on this YouTube channel, what I want to do in life is help 100 people feel what it's like to make a 100% return on investment. This is all free knowledge right now, guys. I don't have a trading program. I don't have a Discord for you to go to. I am purely doing this out of passion. So truly go check out that video about options if you haven't already, because I want to help as many people as possible, because options really have changed my life. And right now, what we are seeing in the markets is absolutely crazy. I mean, we have so many opportunities just in general. The Federal Reserve, what they are doing, what we are seeing at the White House, and just the euphoria in the market, which I believe really is just beginning when we look at the long-term picture of a market chart psychology. I'm getting a little on my words here. So anyway, now we're going to finish with our last stock. This is a stock I have a lot of love for. This is Robinhood stock, and this has been one of my favorites throughout the year, one of my biggest holdings. And just talking about trading, Robinhood, I am playing in 3 different ways. So I have some shares in Robinhood. I'm holding those for the long term, definitely over a year, because I foresee this growth continuing within Robinhood. I think Robinhood is going to go a lot higher. We currently have a price target on Hood at 175. So I'm holding that as a long-term investment. In the medium term, I am swing trading Robinhood. And then in the short term, I am day trading and doing a little bit of swing trading with ROBN, which is the double leveraged opportunity of Hood. So I've been talking a lot about options, but if you've never done double leverage, that is another avenue that you could go that provides leverage. So every 1% that Robinhood goes up, ROBN goes up by 2%. A great asset to look at because these derivatives are absolutely skyrocketing right now. If you don't understand these double leveraged ETFs, or you think, why would they present this opportunity? Well, when you look at Hood, that is just a stock, but Robin is technically an ETF. So there's a little bit of fees associated with it, but it is so minimal. I mean, it is like not even a percent, right? And for big money, for those who are managing the ETFs, the funds, that's great for them because they have so much money. Making that is tremendous. But for us, the retail investors, unless you're like a big bank watching me or something right now, if you're a retail investor going with a double leveraged opportunity and taking a small fee for what could happen with the returns is really very minimal. I really love double leveraged. It's provided a ton of return. And Robinhood, I think Robinhood is going to go even crazier throughout the year because when we do look at chart patterns, when we do look at the TA on this, Robinhood has been in this ascending trend. So we have had this rising level of support and resistance. And right now we are tapping at that highest level of resistance. So there is always the chance that we do get rejected off this resistance, return right back to the middle dashed line or even to the bottom, which would be right around 120. But the macros support more growth within Robinhood. That is exactly what I see. And I believe that this price discovery within Robinhood is going to continue and we're going to jump into new levels. It's going to be very bullish, in my opinion, with Robinhood. And then when we just talk about the big picture of Robinhood, they are doing tokenization of real assets. And just as this reads right here, unstoppable freight train coming to major markets. That is what Vlad, the CEO of Robinhood, says. And this is why I have been talking about Robinhood so much, because they are changing the game. The whole world really is jumping into this whole blockchain, and tokenization of assets is massive. Being able to trade cryptocurrency so quick, so easy, a big reason why people go with crypto, and Robinhood bringing the markets to tokenization. So Robinhood bringing more than 200 tokenized assets. They're going to be doing this in the near future. And this is not the only thing that Robinhood is doing. Robinhood becoming a true fintech brand, becoming a true bank this fall. Robinhood also has all the gambling, like the actual gambling on their site. With sports betting, all that, which they just talked about recently, they do plan on expanding outside of the United States also. And so just talking about fundamentals, Robinhood, truly a amazing company. They are truly a growth company. The stock price right now, just at 150. I think it's going to be a lot higher in 2026. In 2025, right now, the price target at 175. Well, guys, thank you so much, as always, for coming to my daily talk of stocks. Such exciting times that we are currently in. Again, the golden age of the markets. I would love to hear what everyone else thinks in the comment section below. Please let me know if you are in Robinhood, if you are in AMD, or if you are in SOUN AI, or any other great AI plays, or just anything that you are looking at in the market. I always love to hear from you guys. Also, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And again, check out that options video if you haven't, because just being able to make such euphoric gains, it really is life changing. And my biggest thing I would say to any investors who haven't done options or who are still learning it, just don't over leverage yourself. You could start very small. Start with very small amounts of money. Just buy one options contract of a stock to say, right? And just learn your way. And if you just follow the strategy of what I talk about in that video, it will come to you, because guys, it's not about the dollars, it's about the return on investment and having consistent results, and then the dollars will come after. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's daily talk of stock.